looky here, I've got a new friend. Let me introduce you to the Levinson Sceptre Ventana Deluxe. Now, if you're familiar with guitar playing, you will have heard the name Levinson at some point. They were around when I first started playing back in the 90s, when the Levinson Blade guitars were all the rage as a sort of custom high-end boutique type build, much favoured by LA session pros. The simple fact that these guitars were incredibly versatile, incredibly stable in terms of tuning, and would play wonderfully well, would play basically any style all day long and never ever let you down, which is a pretty good recommendation. And what's happened here is that their designer Gary Levinson has been commissioned by Tanglewood, who, again, if you know a little bit about guitar manufacturers, you recognise as a very prominent, kind of cheap and cheerful but still good quality guitar manufacturer. And he's brought us what is effectively his SE or Squire version of the Levinson Blade. So what we have here is, well, as you can see, it's based on a guitar shape. I can't think of the name right now, but I'm sure I recognise one. And effectively what we have here is a nice little workhorse. We've got 3 pickups, single humbucker. These are all pickups that were hand wound by Gary Levinson himself. These are not off-the-shelf designs. Gary wound the prototypes, which they subsequently did mass produce. All these guitars are made in China, and they're made rather well, I have to say, so well done, China. This particular guitar has I believe a 3-piece body, 2 parts powder and 1 part ash. Some of you will be aware that there is something of a supply issue with ash in the US at the time of making this video in 2024. So can't really blame them for that. And you've got a maple neck with rosewood fingerboard, stainless steel frets, which is an interesting thing. This is not something that you tend to find on a guitar at this price point, and we'll talk about that price point in a little bit. The frets have also been rolled, so it's a very smooth edge, and it really does feel like a quality item. We've also got Wilkinson hardware, which has long been kind of the gold standard for hardware. G&L famously uses a lot of Wilkinson stuff as well. I've got a rather nice push-fit tremolo, which I must admit, 5 minutes before doing this video I was having kittens about because I couldn't find it. Very stable tuning, largely through to the tuning pegs here. These are De Jong tuning pegs with zinc buttons. Won't go too much into the specifics, but suffice to say, I've been playing this all day, done all my lessons, all practice session with it, and it's held tune absolutely fine. No issues there whatsoever, and I've been pretty vicious with the tremolo and pretty vicious with the string bends. Okay, what else can I tell you about this? Well, I'm not sure I can tell you anything more about this actually, because I'm just checking my notes and I've run out of things already in the first 5 minutes. But let's say, it plays fantastically well. Full disclosure, I've been lent this guitar by my friendly local music shop, Loughborough's own Just Music, who I will link a phone number to because there isn't a website in the description below. I have not been sponsored by Levinson guitars, although on the basis of this I am very much open to the idea. So yeah, nothing. There was no paid promotion. This is simply me being lent a guitar and gone, see what you reckon to that, and me being really rather impressed by this. Now, so the boys at Just Music, I think, did a little bit of a tweak to get the actions, just to get it optimised, and it played it absolutely gloriously. And you can hear there for anything, whether you've got sort of open string stuff or low slung legato. It's absolutely effortless. So let's get you some sound then. So this is the next single coil. Neck and middle. Middle on its own. Bridge and middle. And then bridge humbucker. Yeah, that's got some real poke behind it. I suppose if I had a criticism, it's that, you know, maybe, boys, you could have thought about putting a coil tap in there. But given this guitar's price point, I think it is eminently forgivable. And as I say, we'll talk about price points in a moment. So I just want to do this a quick A-B with the green special, which I have over here. So, that's neck and middle. Middle on its own. And bridge and middle together. And bridge humbucker. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this is a USA 99 standard, which I have hooked about with no end over its time, and it's fitted right now with a Seymour Duncan everything accent and a coil tap. So this is a long way. This is pitched quite a long way above where the Sceptre is. And I've also had the advantage that I've been playing this guitar for 20 plus years and this one for a day, so obviously I'm going to feel a little bit more familiar with this one, but I have to say they are very definitely in the same ballpark tonally and playability wise, and this is where we come, I think, to the real ace in the hole of the Levinson Sceptre, which is, well, how much do you think a guitar like this costs? Now, obviously PRS's SEs and the high-end Epiphones, which I would say this is all in certainly the ballpark of, are these days 700 up to $1,000, really, you're looking at. Yeah, I had a look earlier on, this is 550 quid. And at that point, that is absolutely staggering that they managed to build something that is this quality and sell it for that little money. So, would I buy one? Would I gig one? Yes, absolutely. If I have a gig on Saturday night. The only reason I'm not taking this one is because it's been lent to me and I have to give it back in the same condition that I borrowed it. So, not been nicked, not been knocked over, and not having spilt on it. Would I buy one? 550 quid? Yeah. Too bloody right. And in fact, as the green special has just passed her 25th birthday, I'm starting to think more and more that I should start thinking about retiring her for active service. And these are a very, very good place to start. I think you would take a guitar like this, maybe uprate the pickups a little bit, something like Duncan's or DiMarzio's to taste. Yeah, you've got something that's going to do every bit of the job. These guitars are built to be spare, unflashy workhorses. The cosmetics don't stand out. They're not aimed at the metalheads. They're not aimed at people who want to make a statement about being blues, country, retro, etc. It's a guitar for the pub band covers guitarist. Well, I'm a pub band covers guitarist, and I think this is absolutely brilliant. So we've heard it clean. Let's finish up with some a little bit of crunch. Let's get that humbucker kicked in. And let's get some of those single coil tones in. Now here I'd say that's where it falls down a little bit for me. It's a little on the toppy side, but obviously we have plenty of EQ tools in the arsenal these days. There's a lot of high-end presence, high-end sparkle. For me, a little bit too much, but yeah, it's easy enough to dial that back. And the nice thing about it, certainly with the neck and the middle, I'm getting some real strong Buddy Guy vibes from this. And yeah, we can absolutely put that up against the Green Special. Here she is, managing not to knock the microphone this time. So, those same tones, neck pickup, middle, and yeah, we're clearly in the same ballpark. So, next up then, let's finish up with a little bit of an extra wallop. Let's crank that gain all the way up and see how. So again, here's our reference. And let's see how the Sceptre handles it. And given that this guitar has absolute and complete lack of metal aesthetics, it does do that style of music really rather well. So what we have here is a little bit of a triumph. Now, as I say, Levinson Sceptre, they're not a big brand. They're not. You're not going to find them with sort of cachet of PRS or Fender or Epiphone or anyone like that. They are, but this is definitely a guitar worth checking out, and the price that it's going for, this is an absolute steal. So yeah, I would recommend that anybody who's in the market for just a good, I'm not even going to say a good budget guitar, this is just flat out a good guitar that happens to be cheap, ridiculously cheap. And yeah, I give this a wholehearted recommendation. So I'm going to finish up by playing you out with that little loop that I created.